and then home. So it is, it's great to be on the road. This is a beautiful state, and this is a beautiful part of the state. It truly is. So I want to thank you for stopping by here before you head to work. I ask a very simple question to every New Yorker, no matter where I go. It's a very simple question. It does need an answer, not necessarily today, but by November. As a state, under this governor, are we winning or are we losing? Period. Winning or losing as a state. Because just like in life, you're either moving ahead or you're falling back. You know, in Yankee Stadium, they have a scoreboard because you win or lose, right? Same thing in this state. Are we winning or are we losing under this governor? And I will tell you that under any objective standard, I think we are firmly in the losing column. And why do I say that? Because we are the highest tax state in America, and it's not even close. We're 40% above the national average. We have the most out-migration. More New Yorkers have fled this state, threw in the towel than any other state in America. 400,000 New Yorkers in the last 3 years. Think about that. 400,000. I was talking to some people today who were saying people are leaving right around here because the opportunities aren't here, or they're just going somewhere else where the jobs are. We have the worst economic outlook in America. We have the worst business climate in America. We have the most corruption in America. We have the highest electricity rates in America. So no matter how you look at it, and yesterday a new poll came out a couple days ago from Gallup, and it's pretty scary. 41% of New Yorkers, if they could, would leave New York. Imagine that. 41% of New Yorkers said if they could, meaning they're trapped here, they would go. And yesterday, it just came out too. So we're the worst state for job seekers, and now we're the worst state to retire in. So if you're a retiree, this is the worst state because of the highest cost of living, the highest taxes, etc. So no matter how you objectively look at it, we are losing. And then, you know, you have the statistics like I just told you about. But what does losing actually look like? Well, the other night we were coming down and I saw the Walmart. And so really any Walmart I go in is probably the same there. Who is now working behind the counter at Walmart? Generally speaking, it's a retiree back to work. Not because he or she wants to, because they have to. Just to be able to age in place, to stay in their own home and pay property taxes. That house was already paid off. And her feet probably hurt because she's standing on her feet for 8 hours, but she's back to work. You know what it also looks like? You ever see somebody trying to fumble on their iPhone to figure out how to do FaceTime or Skype, just so they can actually see and communicate with their children or grandchildren who have moved away? That's what it looks like. And I've seen this. A young girl clutching on a teddy bear with tears streaming down her face because this is the last time they're seeing their house. They're leaving, and they just said goodbye to her friends from school. She's moving because daddy and mommy are moving somewhere else because that's where the jobs are. That's what losing looks like. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. It truly doesn't. You know, Westchester was losing, and losing badly. And I decided to run in 2009 because it was taxing like crazy, spending like crazy. Businesses were fleeing to Connecticut or anywhere else. And I decided to run. So here's what I heard in 2009. You can't win. You're a Republican. You can't win. This is a deep blue county, home of the Clintons. Andrew Cuomo lives in Westchester. The Hollywood elite lives in. You can't win in Westchester. 49% Democrat, 24% Republican out of our almost 1 million people. That's Westchester. Tough terrain. And I said, I don't care. I'm going to run, and I'm going to give an option to people. I'm not going to be Democrat light, by the way. I'm going to be a Republican, and I'm going to offer an opportunity for them to vote for something different. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to cut spending. We're going to live within our means. We're going to attract businesses. And we're going to make it easier to live here. And you know what? I started the race 30 points down. We were able to raise enough money, never going to match the guy who I was running against, who was an incumbent, who had the machine behind him, who had high name ID, blah, 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 blah. Sounds familiar, right? And you know what? We outworked them. We got our message out, and people said, you know what, we need something different here. And I won by 14 points in deep blue Westchester. And then as the 4 years that just went by, I governed like a Republican. I walked in the door, it was a budget of $1.8 billion. Today it's $1.7 billion. We cut the property tax levy, or froze it 4 straight years, and I just announced the other day in my State of the County that a 5th year is coming with no property tax increases. We're living within our means, just like you should in your business, and you do, or at your home. That's how we should be doing things. And the market responded. 30,000 new private sector jobs in Westchester in the last 4 years. The big businesses like PepsiCo, which were on the way out when I got in there. They were going to Plano, Texas. World headquarters for PepsiCo. We worked with them. We sat down with their senior management, the CEO. PepsiCo decided to stay and reinvest. They're knocking down, they're building their whole new corporate headquarters. MasterCard, IBM, same thing. And then Main Street. I go in and out of small businesses everywhere I go. And I talk to people, how can we help you? And a lot of times I just say, get government off our backs. Just, you know, because who's happy in this case who's happy if a New York State inspector comes to your door? Nobody. Because it only means trouble. It means fines. It means something. And so we've got to change that attitude where government, in this case New York State, is not the obstacle. They're not the enemy. They are right now. That's all we hear. We got to change that, and we can. So I just got reelected governing like a Republican, and just got reelected by 13 points. And they were pounding me every day. $2.5 million they spent, beating me up. And now we know Andrew Cuomo knows that we can win this race too. You know why? He just went on New York City television with a despicable ad campaign, basically inferring that I'm a racist. So they play the race card to start the race. I expected that from him because that's how he plays. He's a dirty politician. I expected that from him in the fall. But the fact that he's doing it now just shows to everyone that he knows what we know, that we can win this race. And let me just give you a little inside baseball on how this race is won. This is not what you think. New York City doesn't determine this race. You go back historically, the last 5 gubernatorial races, it's an upstate vote. 44 to 50% of the total vote statewide in the governor's race comes from upstate. So it's up to you. 29% of the total vote, thereabouts, comes from New York City. And of that, we only have to win about 1/3 or less, about in that area. And then the battle shifts to where I want it to be. Westchester County and Long Island. And Westchester is the worst. Historically, for statewide Republicans, that's where elephants go to die. But we're breeding elephants in Westchester. We can do this. And you know what? It's not my Achilles heel, it's my home. That's our base. So I want to be battling it out with Andrew Cuomo in Westchester, where I was born and raised. And I want to battle it out in Long Island, where we talk about Common Core, Cuomo's Common Core, where we talk about taxes, the highest in the nation, where we talk about an economy that is outside of Manhattan, basically dead in this state. That's what I want to talk about. He can talk about all the garbage he wants, but ultimately people want a better life, and they don't want to be on FaceTime talking to their kids. They want to hug their kids right here. So that's why I'm running. And we can win this race. And that's why I'm traveling all over the state to tell people we can win this race. And so, trust me on this. If you're part of this, if you get people out to vote, if you get people registered to vote, if you join us on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and donate a few bucks, because Andrew Cuomo's campaign, you know, they have $25,000 a plate dinners at the Ritz. We have $25 fundraisers at Fred's. And that's okay with me. That's fine, I'm glad. Because that's how we're gonna win. And you should see the number of small checks we're getting from around the state. And to me, that's a great sign. That means people are activated, they want to win this race, and they're motivated to win. So whatever you could kick in and whatever you could talk about as we go forward is going to be the biggest help, because there's a big silent majority out there that's fed up. And I get to run against 3 people this year. Andrew Cuomo, Barack Obama, and God bless his soul, Bill de Blasio. So thank you very much for coming, and let's win this race, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to take